All right, ladies and gentlemen, update. NLC, Nigerian Labour Congress, we're supposed to start their strike tomorrow, and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, we're supposed to join NLC start strike tomorrow. As I'm talking to you, it's official. They said they're not the strike again. Is it by force? The two of them said they're not the strike again. They have come to an agreement with the federal government, and they have reached a consensus. I say, federal government, this is what we are agreeing to do. If we agree to do like this, we no go strike again. The way they baffle me for the strike, I think it's a good one. It's a good one because the strike no go actually favor the country. The country will lose money, although it's a way of sending a signal. But what did they surprise me is that everything we NLC ask for, everything they demand for, women that won't go on this strike, none of them have been visibly done. But they have reached another agreement anyway. They have reached agreement. Let me read the news to you. You will hear this. Watch. Updated. NLC TUC suspend planned strike over fuel subsidy removal. The Labour Centres and federal government to meet on June 19, 2023, which is 2 weeks from now, to agree on an implementation framework, the notice said. The Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress on Monday said they will no longer proceed with the nationwide strike planned for Wednesday. The resolution was contained in a notice signed by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, the President of the NLC, Joe Ajaero, the President of the TUC, Festus Osifo, and Kasholom Daju, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment. The decision came after a meeting between the federal government and the labor unions at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. According to the notice seen by Premium Times, the parties agreed that the NLC will suspend the notice of strike forthwith to enable further consultations. Following the engagement between the federal government, TUC, and the NLC, with the intervention of the Speaker, House of Representatives, to resolve the dispute that arose from the withdrawal of subsidy on PMS. Resolutions were reached that the federal government, the TUC, and the NLC will establish a joint committee to review the proposal for any wage increase or award and establish a framework and timeline for implementation. The federal government, the TUC, and the NLC to review the World Bank Finance Cash Transfer Scheme and propose inclusion of low-income earners in the program, the notice said. The federal government, the TUC, and the NLC to revive the CNG conversion program earlier agreed with labor centers in 2021 and work out detailed implementation and timeline. The labor centers and the federal government to review issues hindering effective delivery in the education sector and propose solutions for implementation. The labor centers and the federal government to review and establish the framework for completion of the rehabilitation of nation's refinery. The federal government to provide a framework for the maintenance of road and expansion of rail network across the country. All other demands submitted by the TUC to the federal government will be assessed by the Joint Committee. Consequently, the parties also agreed that the NLC will suspend the notice of strike forthwith to enable further consultations. The TUC and the NLC are to continue the ongoing engagements with the federal government and secure closure on the resolutions above. The labor centers and the federal government to meet on June 19, 2023 to agree on an implementation framework, the notice said. The NLC and other workers' unions have threatened to embark on strike to protest the recent removal of fuel subsidy by the Nigerian government. Earlier on Monday, the National Industrial Court of Nigeria in Abuja ordered the labor unions to halt the strike they plan to embark on. Olufunke Anuwe, the judge, gave the order after hearing an ex parte request for the federal government. Being an ex parte hearing, it implies labor representatives and their lawyers were absent during the hearing. In a ruling, the judge restrained the NLC and the TUC, the respondents in the case, from embarking on the planned strike action, which was expected to commence on Wednesday. So basically, federal government even carry Labour Party go Nigerian Labour Congress go court before, and it was an ex parte judgment. An ex parte judgment means say Nigerian Labour Congress not even bother send lawyer go court. They not answer the court. They say anything what the court want to make them do, and the court deliver the judgment say they cannot go on strike. But that's not the reason why they call this off the strike. The reason they call off the strike, they say they don't reach an agreement. The agreement, they say both federal government and Labour Congress will sit down and agree. Say we are increasing the salaries of workers. We are going to increase it to so amount. We will start at so time. That is one. Two, we are going to fix our refineries. we are going to fix them to so level, and we will fix it at so time. The two of them go sit down and agree. They are going to sit down and agree, say we go work on our educational sector, and this is how far we are going to push the educational sector. They also will sit down and agree, say we go do the railway lines, train go start to work, this na when we go start, this na when we go finish. But from what I have understood, what I understand from this country is that any agreement wey dem meet without you having something to hold the federal government with, story na today. They also agree say they go work on the CNG, compressed natural gas. That CNG is a, if you get generator, some of una go don hear this shit before, say your generator fit work with gas, e get the way dem dey convert am, so your generator can work with fuel and also work with gas. The thing is, the gas one is cheaper. So federal government have agreed before, since so say by 2022, which is last year, say before they comot the subsidy, they go don work on converting cars so that cars can use the CNG. You understand? The federal government don agree say they go supply most of the kits. Some people don donate their filling station and the rest, so they are going to convert a lot of cars in Nigeria, so those cars can work with gas, the CNG and petrol, so you can decide which one to work with. You can decide, okay, my car go drive on petrol or my car go drive on gas, and you can even switch. But till today they never done. Anyway, they agree, say they go sit down, decide on when they go do am and the time frame for it. We pray that federal government goes on with the agreement, because they are very good for not upholding the agreement after you don give them wetin they want, but it is well. Now the annoying part is that this meeting now is going to start again. They are going to reconvene in 2 weeks time, which is June 15th. 2 weeks time from now, I said June 19th. 2 weeks time, between now and the 2 weeks time, we go to buy fuel the way it be, so everybody go to buy with the recent price, which is about over 480 something naira to 500 and something naira. But it is well. We dey watch. God go help us.